Hi friends, welcome. I'm Alpaca with Budget with Alpaca. We're gonna hop right into it. It's been a hot minute since we've chatted, since I've been here. It's been about 6 months probably, I think, which is on par for me. Usually in my intros I talk about that, I started this channel to hold myself accountable because typically what will happen is I will go really gun-ho with budgeting for about 6 months, and then the latter 6 months of the year I just kind of fall off and forget to do it, and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And so I was hoping that this channel would help me to not have that issue. And I think, to be fair, I think that if the things that had happened had not happened, I do think that I would probably stayed the course, right? Because that was my intentions, and I was very in tune with that intention, I guess. I don't know if that's the right phrasing. Anyway, unfortunately, life had other plans. The universe had other plans for us. I can't remember what my last video was. I can't remember what I talked about or what I didn't talk about. So very briefly, I will just kind of recap the last like 6-ish months. So we, back in July, like back at the end of June, it was literally June 30th, we got a text message from our landlord at 9 p.m. that said, hey, I'm selling the house and you guys have like 30 days. We were able to negotiate with him and try to get, up to 90 days, but it was very much a, yeah, sure, but we're planning on selling it quickly, so, if it sells, basically. Like, there wasn't really any confidence for us that we would be able to stay there for the whole 90 days, right? So we busted our butts and found another house to move into within like the week. Like, it happened very, very fast. And then we ordered we hired some movers to help us. They were new on the website, and normally I'm very wary of that. If they don't have very many reviews, I'm usually very wary of it, right? And like, I'm like, that place doesn't have very many reviews. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to like hire them. Like, I'm not. This time I said, you know what? The price is right. They're new. Maybe they're just like starting their business and they just need a little boost, whatever it is. So let's give them a try. And that bit me in the ass. We got scammed out of $300, and then had to pay like another $250 or whatever. I can't even remember how much we ended up paying, but we paid these fools $300. Essentially, they were like 3 hours late. They finally showed up. They asked for a code to get started. I should have known better. I did know better, and I still gave it to them. And then they worked for like maybe 30 minutes, an hour, and then they were like, oh, our buddy is in trouble and we need to go help him. All three of us will be back. Newsflash, they did not come back. And so yeah, so we had to like call up some friends of my in-laws, and they sent their adult children and like their adult daughter and her husband and their 2 kids out, and they all came to help us. So my husband and I gave them some cash for that. So in total, I think we were out like $550 or something like that. So that was atrocious, plus the U-Haul, plus like all of the application fees that we had been doing, and the moving packaging materials and things like that. Like, in total, I think we probably were out like close to 1,000 to maybe even 1,500 at the end of the day, because of like this like unexpected move. And then on top of that, we also had to pay our rent for our old place for July, and then also pay rent for, or like, pay the deposit for the new place, which thankfully our in-laws covered that, which was nice. I know not everybody has that, just laying around. So thankfully, our in-laws were able to kind of help us out with that. But yeah, so that was chaotic, and then just the whole moving process. I'm not going to get into it, but it was very stressful. Maybe a story time for another time. But in any case, so that was our July. Was just pure chaos. I don't really remember August very much. September, my company let go of like 200, 300 people in a Teams chat or in a Teams meeting, which was daunting and terrifying. I was not one of those people, which is I'm thankful for, but also like it just kind of keeps you on edge. So I've been trying to keep my head down there and like just work and do what I need to do to be able to stay off the radar, because I don't know. So yeah, so that was September. October was crazy. It was Halloween, and we had to get the kids all their stuff, and then Blaine had his Vegas trip in November, which thankfully we did manage to get to $2,000. I don't know how, honestly. I don't. It was rough going there for a while. Oh, and I guess I could mention. So let's back up. This is supposed to be a very quick update. Okay, so backing up very quickly, you guys know that I struggle with the payment plans. You know that I struggled with having a bunch of Affirm, a bunch of Shop, Klarna, PayPal, like all of those different things. And I finally realized that it might be better to take a personal loan, to pay off all of that plus some credit cards, and then just kind of start over, right? And just start from scratch and go from there. So I talked with Blaine about it, and we discussed it. We went back and forth and finally agreed to do that. So we did get a personal loan at the end of September, and at the beginning of October we paid off all of the payment plans, and then we paid off like 2 or 3 credit cards, I think. We still have a shit ton of credit cards that we are working towards paying off, but that was like a breath of fresh air. Of course, with that being said, I have a spending issue, which we all know is accurate, and so while I haven't been using the pay monthlies, I still was using the like pay in 4 payment plans. Not as much, like it really was not as much, but it was still, I think, like maybe 6 different ones that were going at a time. So I have to get those finalized. Like those have to be, I think I've got 2 of those left, maybe 2. Yeah, I've got 2 left. And then for Christmas, we did a couple for Christmas to be able to kind of split up the kids' Christmas gifts. So I got to pay those off, but it's a far cry from where it was months ago. I'm going to leave it at that for now. We'll see it, in a future video. I will go over it a little bit more, but yeah, so that was our October. November was Blaine's trip. Like I said, we did manage to save up, around $2,000 for him to go. He had a blast. He tried a bunch of new things that I never would have thought he would have tried. Came home with a tattoo. He's never been one to want one, but he was meeting with his fire team for the first time, and I was not surprised. I'll just put it that way. I was surprised, but I wasn't. They got matching tattoos, so that was cute. And then November was Thanksgiving, and that was chaotic. We went to a football game, college football game, and then at the end of the month, and then in December we had Christmas, and so it's just been one thing after another, just very chaotic, and I haven't been able to take a minute to figure out our budget. So, all of that being said, we're now in January. It's a new year. Happy New Year. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that your holidays were great. I missed you all. I missed doing this. As you can see, I've got like all of these things out in front of us because I wanted to sit down and see like, what I have to be able to start moving forward, because I do have a plan to move forward with the channel. I'm not just gonna drop in and then be done. That's not what I'm gonna do. I know that that's kind of been the MO a little bit in the past, and I promise there's a reason to the madness. In any case, so yeah, we're here. We're here now, and we're doing this. My plan is that this is a pay week. So I get paid on Thursday, and Blaine gets paid on Friday. So I don't like to go to the bank twice in a week. So my plan is to go on Friday, and then hopefully be able to do a cash count with you guys. Maybe a cash stuffing, but I'm going to be real honest. The cash stuffing is not going to be super exciting because there's not going to be very much that I'm going to be pulling out that is going to go into like the basic envelopes. I don't even remember my terminology anymore. Oh man, this is rough. This is a roller coaster. So I'll have money for savings, for like the savings challenges and all of these things. But the majority of it, I'm taking out money for rent, and then what was the other thing? Oh, like gas? Yeah, gas, rent, and savings, I think. There might be like one other thing. But in any case, what I'm saying is that the envelopes, we're not going to really dig into the bulk of my envelopes. I do have a lot of envelopes that I'm super excited to dive into at some point. But right now, we are kind of at a point where we really need to focus on paying down the rest of our debt. So that is what we're going to be doing. That's kind of the goal for this year, I think. I haven't really thought much about it. I don't know. I kind of just jumped into this video. I didn't really have a plan, so I apologize. I'll have to try to edit this down a little bit. But yeah, no, so the goal, I think the overall goal for this year is to get our credit card debt down to 0. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, like I just spent the last like week going through every single expense that we had for 2025, and it's gross. Like I don't even want to show you guys. Like, I will in another video, not today, but I it's gross. So I know that we can, because I've seen it. I've seen the numbers as to, what we spent on payment plans. That deserves a heavy sigh. It deserves such a heavy sigh. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, Blaine and I had this conversation kind of over the weekend that, I guess I was more so in my head. Because I can never get the words out when I need to, but I've come to the realization that like I think I navigate towards the payment plan option because in my mind it's like, okay, well, it's only $12, this like every 2 weeks or 4 weeks, like we can handle $12 extra a week, that's not a big deal, versus paying $75 or whatever in one go, right? Like I have $12 extra right now. I don't necessarily have $75 extra, but I do have $12 extra, so I can go ahead and get this thing, and then, sure, yeah, I'll have $12 extra next paycheck. Why wouldn't I, right? The fact of the matter is that I don't always have $12 extra the next paycheck, and then we're scrambling trying to figure out like how are we gonna resolve that, and it's come down to where it's like, okay, look, like I've been entrusted to fix our finances, and ultimately these payment plans are crushing them, and they're not helping. Like I said, I don't have anywhere near the magnitude that I did, but I do still have a few that needs to be completed, and those are going to be done with probably at the end of the month. Sorry, I had something in my eye. Ugh. Anyway, those are going to be done at the end of the month, I think. So that's going to be like the first thing that I finish. My goal with the savings challenges is to save up the money, and then at the end of the month we're going to take it all out of their envelopes and count it up, and then put it in the bank and pay off whatever needs to be paid off. That can be paid off with that amount, and then each month just keep doing that. And if that's like once the payment plans are paid off, then we have the credit cards, and that'll look like making bulk payments, like large payments at the end of each month for those different credit cards. And we'll probably start with like the lowest balance ones first and then go from there. I know sometimes people like to go by the interest rates, which is fine, and that also works really well and probably should be the way that you should do it, but with us we just prefer to knock the smallest ones out first and move our way up the ladder. So that's kind of the plan. I apologize, my voice is scratchy. I'm coming down with a bit of a cold. So we were out at a state park this weekend, and so we were out hiking, and it's very, very cold here. Probably not the smartest things for us to do, but it's fine. Also, my phone is my camera right now because it's almost midnight, and I don't even think that my camera is charged, like my actual camera. So that's why my hands, you can't see my hands. I'm not doing anything with the table in front of me. I apologize. We'll move stuff. There you go. You got some movement. Okay. There. See? Look at all the pretty ones, though. I kind of lost my train of thought. I don't know where I'm at. I'm going to have to really actually pay attention to this when I'm editing, because I don't know where I'm at. So, here's what the plan is for this video. I honestly, the video is almost over because I just kind of wanted to catch up with you guys and chat for a minute, and or for a lot of minutes, I guess. Sorry. But I think going forward, on the Mondays before I get paid or we get paid, I'm going to have this sort of kind of more of a fireside chat type video where I'm just going to be going over our goals for the week, kind of motivating myself and hopefully motivating you guys, giving out some motivation, and putting that into the universe for us all, and bringing out that that energy for abundance and prosperity going into the next pay period. And hopefully that will help motivate us and get us into the right mindset for our next pay periods, for our goals that we have. Like I said, the overarching goal for this year is just paying down our debt and getting our credit cards completely taken care of, and then we can figure out how long that takes us, and if we happen to get it done sooner than we thought, then great. If not, that's okay too. We have a smaller goal of saving up for a winter vacation for the family. But that, we'll see how that goes. That might come secondary to paying off the credit cards first and then seeing where we're at after that, because we have a lot of plans for the next couple of years, actually. So anyway, so for this pay period, we're going to wrap up. For this pay period, we are going to focus on a no spend. So I want to start a no spend. I'm not going to say a year, but each pay period, maybe a year. A year no spend? No. I don't really know how they work. I just know that like I need to stop spending. So I want to focus on being more mindful with my spending. For this pay period, I want to make sure that my purchases are meaningful and not just, oh, I saw this thing and I just want it, so I'm gonna get it. Like I don't want that. So that is what I'm gonna be focusing on, as well as honestly, I think that's it for right now. I think that's good. Because I just need to get back into it, back into the budgeting universe, the budgeting world. I've been so far removed from it. Yeah, I mean, all of these things, some of them you've seen because I had already opened them, but like a lot of these things I had never opened. So like this, I got these like all not those, that's from Eileen's Christmas box, but I also got her Halloween box, and that was in that. And so like anyway, a lot of these I had not actually opened. I was waiting to open them on camera, and then obviously I never did. I finally sat down tonight. That's why it's all out on my table. We're gonna have some mini Mondays. Everybody loves Mini Mondays, right? Mini Mondays, I have the Friends game that I got from Brits Budgets. That we're going to be doing. It's a binder game. It's really cute binder challenge. So that's going to be on Fridays. Not every Friday. It's going to be on the weeks that I don't get paid. I just have a lot of plans, so I'm hoping that keeps me motivated and that we will be seeing each other much more frequently than we have been in the past several months. I am so excited to get back into it and to be here and to be talking with you guys. I missed you. I hope that you guys had a terrific holiday. I know I've already said that. I'm saying it again, darn it. And I will be seeing you guys very, very soon. I am going to go ahead and sign off now. Before we hit the 25-minute mark. Alright, guys. I will talk to you soon. I hope you guys have a good night, or a good day, or whatever time it is that you're watching this. If you made it this far, please, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button. It helps out a ton. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!